Well, hello there. My name is Susan Hamilton, and you're watching Offbeat Business TV or listening to the Offbeat Business Show podcast on the OBBM network. I'm here today talking about illegal immigration. There's a reason we need to discuss this, friends, because often we don't really understand what exactly that means. Yes, it's people that are coming in an unorthodox manner, but right now there's a lot more going on about that, and I can't wait to introduce our guest today who's going to help us understand what this means. We'll be right back.
Welcome to Offbeat Business TV and the OBBM Network podcast. CEO and host Susan Hamilton shares vital insight from local DFW leaders on successful life and business, focused squarely on local family business. It's time for our nation to rise, and we'll do it through a vibrant local business sector that stands up for life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. Ready to meet your advocates? Here's your host.
Welcome to Offbeat Business TV. My name is Susan Hamilton, and I'm here today with Lucila Seri with Texas Against Illegal Immigration. Yes. And that's really, really interesting, and I'm excited to have you here, Lucila. Thank you so much for joining me.
Thank you so much for having me. It's my pleasure.
You know, I saw you in action, and when I saw you in action in Frisco at that amazing conference, and I saw you in a panel, and I heard you articulate the things that you had personally experienced from Argentina, as an immigrant from Argentina, I thought the way you conveyed that was just so important for us to understand, because I imagine you also see that there's some misunderstandings here, because the idea is often touted as a racist idea, to be opposed to illegal immigration, that it's even touted as unchristian, right? It's like, what about open borders? Shouldn't just anybody be able to come? Isn't that a biblical way that we should be approaching our country? And so the things that you brought up helped us realize, you know, wait a minute, folks, those things are, first of all, they're errors. Mm-hmm. They're errors in the thought, but why? Why is that? And I thought if you would share a little bit about your background. I mean, you went through the trouble of being a legal immigrant, and then later on went to be the director for Texans Against Illegal Immigration. There must be a reason for that. That's not easy to organize a group like that. Sounds like there's some passion behind what you're doing.
There's quite a bit of passion, and you're correct. I'm a legal immigrant. I know that is rare nowadays to hear, but I came from Argentina over 10 years ago. I followed the due process, and to begin with, we cannot call immigration illegal or non-godly for when people doing the right way, because we have an immigration process. So Texans Against Illegal Immigration is all for legal immigration. So, and as you mentioned, I was one of them. I had to jump through the hoops and loops, fill tons of paperwork, pay thousands of dollars, and even I had to be sponsored to come into this country. Somebody had to bow for me. So if in those first 10 years that I was a green card holder, God forbid, I needed government assistance, my sponsor would have gotten the bill for that. And that now has changed. Now that sponsorship is for life. So we have a system that, is it the best? No, but it's way better than many other countries.
It sounds like money operates a little bit differently than we might understand. So are you saying that when you sponsor someone for the green card, and that person that you have sponsored then goes on to government assistance, that the government can recapture that money through the sponsor? Did I understand that correctly?
Yes, the sponsor is liable for any government assistance.
So if we don't just print money and just print as much as we need? That's not how it goes?
According to this government, yes.
Well, it's important to understand where is money going, because these things are not free, and taxpayers go into, you know, those come out of our paychecks.
Yeah.
So that's interesting. That's an interesting nuance I don't think a lot of people understand as far as sponsorship goes.
Yeah, and not to mention there are so many people in line going through this process. That is one of the bigger issues with illegal immigration. Illegal immigration, being against illegal immigration is not saying that we want closed borders. No, we want people that want to come to this country, make their life, fulfill the American dream to come. But there's a due process. Everybody in the world wants to come to America. We cannot open the border to everybody. And I find it quite funny because a lot of people consider this racist and, oh, everybody should come in, but they lock their doors at night.
Yeah, there's that.
If you're so welcoming for everybody coming in, your house should be homeless central. You should be hosting everybody in the streets.
But what about all these people that need the help, Lucila? They need help, right? They're coming here because they're looking for that support. They're being harmed where they are, so they're knocking at our doors and coming in, and they're helpless. They're half naked. They got their kids. I mean, it is quite a grim story.
Well, these people pay very large amount of money to come through the border. For the border crossings, they go from $1,000 to like $8,000 to $10,000, depending on what country you come from. There's a lot of professional people, so we need to get rid of that image that what we're getting through the border are the, oh, poor people wanting help. My first thing that I will tell to those people is, what did you try to do to help your country? Because these people don't realize, the few that want help, they don't realize that they're doing to this country what was done to their country.
Oh, that's a fabulous insight.
This is all a playbook. Yeah. This is all a playbook. These open borders are part of the playbook of making this country a communist country. Is the playbook. You flood your borders. You pay people not to work. You indoctrinate children. You mess with the supply chain. Sounds familiar? That is a playbook. That is what is going on. And again, this is not only people coming through the border. It's drugs. It's sex trafficking. It's crime that is increasing. The people at the border, they're desperate. Children has not been able to play in the streets for over a year and a half in the border. And it's crazy. These are supposed to be the mellow towns where people greet each other and everything is good, and they're imprisoned in their own houses because foreign people are invading their area.
You know, you call it an invasion. It's quite a bit what it looks like, but I've seen the pictures, and it's painful. It's painful to know that I've seen pictures where the children are passed out. They're clearly drugged.
They're drugged.
They're drugged, and there could be 20 kids in a picture with a handful of adults, and they're all laying around in various ages, various sizes of their little bodies. And it just feels so wrong and so desperate. And I know I'm not the only one who's seen pictures like that. And our heart is, what can we do? What can we do? Of course, but unfortunately, I am under the impression from everything that I've seen that they're not coming here to be free.
Well, actually, you bring a great point, because children have become a commodity. Children are, there's many videos, I just said that, children are drugged, children are rotated. They come with an illegal, they send them back, they come with another one. There was a situation in one of the border counties that there was this little girl around 6 years old, and she needed to go to the restroom. And they're like, oh, let me show you. And she's like, oh, no, don't worry, I've been here like 16 times. So that is the problem. That is part of the human trafficking.
Strange? Yeah, something doesn't seem right in that. And I know that we've seen so much that it just doesn't add up. Mm-hmm. You know, as a common sense woman, a lot of those stories don't add up.
Yes.
But what really resonated with me as you're talking about your story is that you saw Argentina go. So you grew up in Argentina.
Yes.
So and so when you're talking about, hey, this is out of a playbook, You've seen that happen. Was Argentina communist the whole while? I don't know much about the government in Argentina.
No, Argentina, we've been going back and forward between Peron, Evita, and then we had military regime, and then we went into more of a capitalism in the 90s, but then in the early 2000s we started going to the left and we never stopped. But the difference is, in Argentina, this started in the early 2000s and took almost a decade. It was a lot more fine how things developed. Here, America is going through an intensive. I'm seeing here in the last 6 months what I've seen in a decade happening in Argentina. And it's concerning, but at the same time, I always tell everybody, I think that what differentiates this country is that people still have a fight in them. We have people that are speaking up, that are getting involved, that are traveling, they're pretty much lost their social life to activism. I did not see back home. Back home, people would go, march, wave a flag, and go home and do nothing, or wait for the next election. There's always about the next election. And that's how the country went to the gutter, unfortunately.
Yeah, to me, that bothers me also, the idea that, oh, we're just going to wait for the next election. What happened to we the people? It seems to me the rest of the world is waiting for us to go, wait a minute, we're allowing a top-down government in the United States of America when it is truly a bottom-up government.
The world is looking at us very closely, and literally we are their last hope. They're looking at us to clean this mess and to turn the situation around and to start kind of like a domino effect that they can follow. And I think that for people, yes, it's great for you to vote 100%. Everybody should be involved and vote. But there's too much going on as to sit idle at your house. You need to get involved. You need to go out, go to either, there's many conservative groups all around, or if you don't care about conservative groups and want to involve more in local, go to your commissioner's court meeting, go to your city council meeting, go to your student board meeting.
Start paying attention on some
go
level,
and
no doubt
start
about
getting
it.
involved. The people that attend the RSS, they're very nice and they're eager to get more people to get involved.
Well,
so,
isn't that the truth? And Lucila, thank you so much for sharing that. And we're going to take a break and hear from our sponsors. When we get back, we're going to hear more about this. You digging it as much as I am? We'll be right back.
Thank you.
My American dream is to help you stay healthy and energized so you can live your American dream.
Our American dream is equipping future generations of American dreamers.
My American dream is to protect my community so they can live their American dream.
My American dream is to bring you some spice and flavor to your life.
Our American dream is ensuring what's most valuable to you.
Our American dream is creating opportunities for healthcare providers so they can have their American dreams.
My American dream is serving our business community and advocating for all of your American dreams.
Business runs on technology, and human beings are creatures of habit. Unfortunately, not all our habits are good. Technology, when it works, is supposed to make our lives easier, creating routines that allow us to protect customer data, track our progress, forecast the future, communicate better, and move much faster. So, you need technology solutions that work when you're not working, or simply not paying attention. Smart technology solutions, making the complicated uncomplicated. Business runs on technology, and human beings are creatures of habit. Unfortunately, not.
We are being censored. America's news outlets no longer provide the truth. 90% of news outlets in the United States are controlled by 6 corporations. They're not out to tell you the truth of what's happening. They're out to tell you the picture of the world that they represent. The mission of the Epoch Times is to chase the truth, to ground all statements in facts, and prevent people from being misled. The Epoch Times is independent. We're not controlled by any special interests, and we never will be. The Epoch Times is a non-partisan media. That means we don't stand for any political party. This is a battle between truth and deceit, a battle between forces that would ensnare this country in ignorance, and between a media that wants to present you with the truth. Subscribe today and join the Americans who are seeking truth and tradition. We'd love to have you on board.
And you're back. We're talking to Lucila Seri with Texans Against Illegal Immigration. And you might be wondering why we've got to have an organization like that. And quite frankly, we need an organization like that. We need lots of hands on deck because this is a big issue. Lucila, thank you so much for sharing with us everything that's been going on in your world and your activism in this space.
My pleasure.
You can help us really take off those rough edges in our ideas because we have been separated in our communities, separated, as though all immigration is the same type of thing.
Yes.
And that, like you mentioned earlier, closed borders or open borders. Since when is that a discussion? I mean, even if you went to Mexico, you'd have to have some kind of a proof and a way to go through it legally. Going into Canada, you have to legally be able to go through. There's ways, there's channels that you go into anywhere. So why would we then just be vulnerable and go, hey, anybody can be here? And we'd love to be all warm and fuzzy, but it does seem like it's part of a broader narrative. And I'm noticing that how to talk to that is challenging because we want to be that open-minded. I'm a Christian, so I don't want the idea and the perception that I'm opposed to people or I've got a stand against Hispanic people or any race, right? I don't feel that way.
Yeah.
But it's easy to be typecast into these things, and I want to know from your point of view, help us dispel those ideas that we understand that there's real danger here. This is a very different scenario than how it's being painted.
Yes. So to begin with, I don't like that argument of, oh, these poor people that are coming in. First of all, they're doing something that is illegal. So it's no poor people, they're not following a process.
No, but our heartstrings are going out after those babies, Lucila.
But there's so many countries between America and all of these countries where people are coming. Why are we the ones responsible for them?
Well, there's that, but I think there's part of us that want to do something to help them, and we shouldn't ignore that either. We don't know what to do, though.
I don't think that is bad, but I think that this is the moment that we need to help ourselves, Susan, before helping these people coming into this country. Because as I mentioned, this is all a playbook. How it starts with open borders, then paying people not to work, extending unemployment, etc., etc. Then indoctrinating children in schools, and as I say, messing with the supply chain. And how does this match with illegal immigration?
I mean,
you might be wondering.
Seriously, all you need to know is history. I said that at the school board meeting the other night. It's like you would think you would have to know something about history if you're going to now develop the policy for history. It seems like you've kind of missed that.
100%, yeah. And our education system keeps on removing history and constitution. So long story short, pretty much all of these people that are coming in illegally are meant to backfill for all of those situations created. We are having a hard time getting people to get a job because unemployment gets extended. Guess who will fill those positions? We are having issues with people taking their children out of school and homeschooling them because the system is indoctrinating children. Guess who will fill those plazas at the schools? What do I say that?
But I do feel that sense also, that there's a sense of backfill. That there's it seems to me, and from what I see, and I don't have the understanding of it, but it does seem to me like if a lot of people died, that there would be a large amount of population that isn't America, doesn't have American values, that would be here, that if we are not careful would have the right to vote. And not necessarily in American interest because they don't even know the Constitution.
Exactly. We're going to end up with a bubble if this happens, because we're going to have people from all different countries speaking different language. The American values will be lost, and that's what happened back home. And they played the same playbook, even with the supply chain. It was not the same as here, but they also messed with the supply chain, because messing with the supply chain caused destabilization. People get hungry, they get angry, they cannot get the goods. If they can get them, they're so expensive. And we are looking into a similar situation that we went in 2020, what was brewing before the George Floyd, and it's all about creating a boiling pot that eventually it boils and creates chaos. So that is the thing that people don't see. Everything is connected. Illegal immigration, what is happening in our country, election integrity, because that is another piece. If we don't have election integrity, all of these illegals can vote. Medical freedom, again, vaccines are getting people also out of jobs. Who are going to backfill those positions? Everything is planned, and we need Americans to wake up and start seeing, stop with that mentality that it won't happen here. It will happen here. The Roman Empire fell, and it was way greater than America. I love America, but the Roman Empire was like... So everybody can fall if we don't take action. People think that what we have here is a given, and that is because half of the American population don't have a passport and have never traveled out of the country.
Wow.
If they did, they will see how blessed they are. What you have in this country is very rare. Not for nothing, everybody in the world wants to come here.
Yeah, no, that's something I do tell my kids, because even in my family, there's that generational difference in the ideal. Because I'll just be honest, I didn't pay attention. I didn't pay attention when the kids were in high school. I was always a volunteer before high school. In high school, when the kids gave me the pushback, I did that. I said, okay, maybe I need to back off here and give them room. I've learned since then that that's exactly when you hang on tighter. And other parents that did a more successful job did that. They stayed volunteering through that high school level, even though their kids gave them the inevitable pushback. I wish I would have, because I didn't pay attention to seeing those things. But over the years, I've heard the attitude in my own family from the next generation saying, well, why do we even need borders? Why not let everybody in? Why not everybody just get a paycheck? And those attitudes like everything is evil, or it's not, everything is equal. That's the word I'm looking for. Everything is equal. And it couldn't possibly be. And it does seem like there's a difference between that equity and equality, the outcome. What do we all have the right to the same opportunities, or do we all have the right to the same outcomes? And that's an interesting thing to now have to go back and teach. It's now, life happens, and it has a way of teaching itself, unfortunately. But what can we do on this level, Lucila? You have a group. How large is your group?
We started a few months ago, so as of now, our core, we are around 10 people, but we are growing as we are expanding throughout Texas and gathering more volunteers as we're getting very busy. But a big part is getting involved, contacting us to volunteer. And if you're not interested in the border, contact us anyway. I can point you to several other groups in the area. It doesn't matter what your interest is to get involved. There's somebody that you can work with.
It's not so much the interest to get involved. We don't know what to do. Those pieces are so important. So know someone who's doing something, I think is good advice. But then, like what on earth? This is a huge problem. If all those things are happening the way you've articulated, and I actually agree with you. I see a lot of that also. What do we do with that then on my little bitty local level, with my little bitty voice, my little bitty business? What do I do to protect my community from what sounds like it could be dangerous?
So at the local level, as we mentioned, city council, commissioner's court, any local meeting, attend, start listening. At the beginning, it's going to be like, whoa. But you will get familiarized, and you will understand what is going on way sooner than you would think that same day. Second, for us, in TexansAgainstIllegalImmigration.com, we have our Take Action area. We work really hard to streamline actions, to make them as easy as possible for people to perform. We estimate that normally our actions take like less than 3 minutes.
It has to be more than holding up a sign. What do we do? Because we're not a violent people. And I don't think it needs to be met like that. But there seems like there's probably a million ways that we could fill in. And when there's too many choices, we'll do nothing. That's a marketing 101.
I think if you're somebody that stays at home and don't go out, contact your representative, your state representatives. Keep an eye on Legiscan, okay?
That's a good, thank you for that.
Yeah.
Agreed. Keep your eye on them. Oh, very good. Let them know you're watching and write them letters.
Yeah, the same at your county level. When you go to your student board, city council, when it comes to immigration, inquire how much money my county is spending in illegals, how many illegals are in the school, how many English as second language programs do we have in the school, because all of these things translate in taxpayers' money that we pay also. So if they don't care, I'm not expecting everybody to go to the border and come and help like we're going to be doing, but there's a lot to be done locally with any of the local areas. Contact your sheriff and find out, has there been a crime increase in the area? There are surges in sex trafficking. There's many things that they can do.
Those are very, very practical ideas, Lucila. Thank you so much. We are going to take a break, and when we come back, we are going to continue this conversation. I hope you find it as riveting as I do, and I hope you're taking some tidbits out of this that you can share with other people. We'll be right back.
My American dream is to help you stay healthy and energized so you can live your American dream.
Our American dream is equipping future generations of American dreamers.
My American dream is to protect my community so they can live their American dream.
My American dream is to bring you some spice and flavor to your life.
Our American dream is ensuring what's most valuable to you.
Our American dream is creating opportunities for healthcare providers so they can have their American dreams.
My American dream is serving our business community and advocating for all of your American dreams.
Business runs on technology, and human beings are creatures of habit. Unfortunately, not all our habits are good. Technology, when it works, is supposed to make our lives easier, creating routines that allow us to protect customer data, track our progress, forecast the future, communicate better, and move much faster. So, you need technology solutions that work when you're not working, or simply not paying attention. Smart technology solutions, making the complicated uncomplicated.
And we're back. You're watching OffBeat Business TV. You're listening to the OffBeat Business Show on the OBBM Network podcast. You can find us on Roku, Rumble, Spotify, you name it. We're here for you, local DFW. And I'm talking with Lucila Seri with Texans Against Illegal Immigration. That's a mouthful. That's a mouthful. But I'm so grateful for what you're doing, and I'm so grateful for the perspective that you share. I think we need it. I think, we were talking with the audience during the break, and our perception is whacked out. We have, and it's intentional actually, and it does yank at your heartstrings. We do look at because we're decent people. Who wants to hurt somebody, or see somebody in danger? I don't care where they are. When I see somebody in danger, or a child that looks like they're in trouble, my heart goes, what do you need? How can I help? And I think most people really are that. Help us understand where we're making this disconnection between danger and help. What don't we see?
So what we're not seeing. So first of all, the people that are coming, I know all the footage in the media is the family and the children. They are a very small percentage of the people that are coming through the border. Actually, family units, it was around 500,000 or something like that, but the majority is young adults, men of military age. And a lot of times when they refer to unaccompanied minors, it's not actually children, it's also men between the age of 15 and 17 who are legally minors. So that is the first thing to clarify. It's not all families coming into the border. The big problem is that the majority is military-age men, and a lot of them are already involved with the cartels. So that is a big situation. And also, these families that are coming, yes, they're coming for a better life, but they're commodities. they are being used as a distraction because the situation, like everybody saw the picture of the Rio Bridge with all the refugees.
Yes.
All of that is a distraction for the cartel people and the criminals to come from other areas because that's how they handle it. They create a hotspot to call all the attention, bring all the resources, and then all the areas that are unattended is where the dangerous people come in. The ones that we see in the picture that they go and give themselves to the government, yes, I feel bad for these people. Something needs to be done, but again, there's a process, and there's several countries between their motherland and the U.S.
You know, it's occurring to me. I've heard Dr. Richard Fleming say that it's one thing. War strategy, we tend to think that that's shoot someone and take them down, but actually war strategy is maim that person, take them down, because other people will go to that person, and now you've taken out several at one time. And it sounds to me that that's kind of what's going on here. If we're not looking, we're going to run to the thing that pulls our heart, that gets our attention, and totally miss that there's a much larger warfare going on, an infiltration, an invasion coming into this place that actually endangers those children even worse, let alone our communities. What kind of danger is in our local community? How does that affect us here in DFW? I mean, after all, it's all the way down here at the border.
So Dallas is now #1 on sex trafficking, and Houston is following very closely. Then there has been a extreme surge on fentanyl death because that's something else that they're bringing. They're even bringing, not only they're bringing the drugs here, but also in prescription from Mexico, they're adding these. So people that buy prescriptions online from Mexico, people are dying because of that. Then when it comes to sex trafficking, I want to draw a parallel of these families, these women and these children, because these women and children are being sexually abused in the camps on the Mexican side. So it's something we are enabling this by taking them in, because we are multiplying, we are letting them, oh, come in, so the people know that they go through the caravan, they get abused, I cannot name the things
but it's
that
a whole
they do.
lot more. They can abuse a human being a whole lot more than they can abuse a drug, and so that's that kind of, yeah.
The children being used as I said, not only commodity to come back and forward, but sexual commodity. 1 out of 4 children cannot be found. 25% of the children that cross the border.
I just heard that the other day.
So
that's amazing.
So where's the humanitarian? Yeah, it's like, if anything, people should be saying, like, stop this, because these people are being abused, they're being trafficked, they're disappearing. We should be doing that instead of like, oh, let's let them in. And most of these people are paying the cartel, and a lot of them, they don't have the money. So that is credits that they have to pay. As you see in the movies that, that you have like the sex slave, that is like that. They're like, no, you need to pay me X amount of money until you're free, and that money keeps on extending and extending.
If I hear you correctly, then we've got a bunch of kids that are coming in here with a debt that they owe the cartel that will then be paid in their very bodies.
Yes.
My gosh, it needs it. So we can't have just a handful of people on a group addressing this. It's time for really the body to rise. It's time for people to get together and activate and say, okay, guess what? Susan doesn't have all the answers.
Yeah.
You know, Lucila doesn't have all the answers. But when we get together and we do something, I guarantee you, I know one who does. There's some information that we need to get. We need a little revelation about how to handle this, because none of it's okay.
Yeah.
And we can't just be sitting back allowing these things to happen and get so close. So yes, you got to pay attention to your school boards. Yes, you need to pay attention to your city councils, your commissioner's court. What's going on? Because unless you are voting for people that are standing on the Constitution, that's it, folks. That's it. You have got to go, you've got to make sure that who you're looking at to vote into office is someone that understands, and that's the question I ask everyone, is that what you'll defend? Is that what you'll defend? Is that Constitution? Because how can we help the rest of the world if we are victimized ourselves and allowing it to happen, right? We're just allowing it to happen. You made, going back to Argentina, you said that you're seeing things happen in 6 months that took 10 years to happen in Argentina. And you're seeing us do that. It seems like we're just kind of walking according to a playbook with our head in the sand, watching a little too much media, listening to just a little too much information that is specially crafted to keep you not paying attention.
Yes.
That's interesting to me. So what do you recommend? Go get behind what needs to happen for your school boards and your city councils and your county commissioners. Organize, find these groups. But in our viewpoint, what can we do? How can we encourage other people in our circle of influence to understand this is not a racist issue, that this is a humanitarian issue? And a constitutional issue.
Because I was going to say, this is an American issue. This country was founded on the U.S. Constitution. That is the law of our land. So my first advice is defend the Constitution. Do not allow your local government or state government to pass laws that go against the Constitution. That is step number one. Then speak up, don't be shy. And a lot of Christian and conservative people are like, oh, put the other cheek. No, that doesn't mean let people run all over you. We need to become more assertive. It's time for us to, we have been pushing back from...
Time to turn over some tables.
Yes, it's time for us to take action and to be like, I'm going to defend my country. I'm going to be unapologetic about that because this is the country that I live and I love. And it's a great country. Are we perfect? By no means, but we are much closer to perfection than the rest of the world. So
I'll tell you what, I don't think you can take down Goliath unless you think you can, and you're going to have to stand for that strength. There's a strength coming from a position of a strength. Says, I know what this is. And if you don't, the lack of definition, there's no strength in that, and you can't get rid of this without strength. You can't impact it or change it without strength. We cannot fix this waiting for somebody else to do it.
We are the somebody else. We need to stop looking at a plan or somebody to come and save us. Nobody's going to come and save us. We need to get involved, get out, be loud and active. That's true. So when it comes to employment, we know you want to hire people. Do that. Do it wisely, but pay attention to what that means for your company. There's legitimate help that you can offer this community through your business, but being profitable is your number one way to make a bigger influence here. So I just suggest all of you follow Lucila's advice. Thank you so much. You said TexansAgainstIllegalImmigration.com? Yeah. TexansAgainstIllegalImmigration.com. Please check our Take Action area. We're always adding new actions, and actually I'm heading to the border tomorrow, so we're finishing up our next initiative to help with the border defense. All right, well, let's do something about it. Thank you so much for your service. Thank you for the example that you set, and thank you for sharing this valuable perspective. I hope that this has mattered to you. Until next time, you're watching OffBeat Business TV. You're listening to the OffBeat Business Show on the OBBM network. You can find us on Rumble. You can find us on over 20 different platforms. We are sponsored by Office Furniture Source here in Farmers Branch, and we're just so thankful for that, and Grace Point Media, and we thank you for tuning in today. Please share this with everyone you know.